letting yourself arrive wherever you are, whether you're on a yoga mat, on a sofa or chair, standing, in bed, in an office, it doesn't matter. You can always join in. And thinking today about gratitude for yourself and thinking about connection of all the things that we've done, thinking about the elements, and you're never one element. You shift even moment to moment as to which element is dominating. You might have a period where one element dominates more, but you will shift and you will move. The elements move, and we have all of the elements within us. So come to lie down if you're on the mat, or rest back in your chair. Maybe bring your knees into your chest and have a little rock. Because when you first come down to the mat, if you lie down, you haven't been lying down, it can be quite uncomfortable. Having a little scan through your body, noticing where your feet want to be. I automatically crossed mine. And noticing how your body feels. Perhaps stretch out your legs just for a moment and sink into the floor. And here, feel the earth element, feel the solidity of the floor. Even if you're on furniture and there's give, it's still holding you there. It is still connecting you to the earth. And the earth through the structure of your body, the bones. And then, if you're lying down, bring your knees back into your chest. And we're going to come into a twist, so you know you can do your twist seated as well. But drop the knees over to one side or shuffle them round if you're seated. And take what might be the upper hand, where you're going to twist away from, as though it's going to move through water. And let it move and flow back and forth, down towards your toes, down over to the other side. But let it undulate rather than move solidly. Pause when you reach the twist, but still perhaps you can feel water, as though your hand is trailing over the side of a boat. Then let it continue round, up, above your head if you're lying down, and come back round. Push back to centre. Knees might be into your chest or your feet might be on the ground, feeling into the earth again, the solidity, the structure. And drop your knees over to the other side if you're lying down, and take the top hand back through the water, flowing. No right way nor wrong way to do it. Let it reach out, opening into the twist, but keeping some fluidity in your body. And then bring your hand around and overhead and come back. Then push back to centre and feel the earth again. The solidity, the structure. The elements connecting. You can't have one without the other. The water needs the container of the earth. And then gently rock or push to seated. And notice the fluidity in that movement. If you come up to seated. Perhaps if you're on the mat, sitting on a cushion too, so you can lift your hips a little and tilt your pelvis. Choice of your own with your legs. Bring your hands to your heart. And here, an invitation to tune into the fire in your body. Perhaps you'll take your hands a little lower. The fire in your belly, the fire in your heart, the warmth, the love. And then as you inhale, sweep your arms out and up and back and down. Back to the fire, but inhale up into air, reaching into air, and then back down, inward, into your inner fire. Thinking about what does drive you. It came up in the group today. What ignites you? What are you passionate about? What feeds your soul? Inhale, sweep up, let your arms and fingers go into the air, reaching out and playing, and then back down, hands to the fire. And pause. Have a little wiggle. We're going to move to tabletop. So if you are seated, hands to knees. If you are on the mat, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Feeling back into the earth. Feeling through each of the fingertips. Even if you're seated and your hands are on your knees, your hands are connecting through your legs to the earth. If you're on the mat, perhaps you can visualize your hands rooted down into the earth. Solid, strong, connected. Then, if you are on hands and knees, I'm going to take, I'll mirror now so that, because by the time I move, you'll need me to be mirroring. So I'm going to take my right foot out like a kickstand. We've done this before, and my left leg out straight. And then my right arm is going to move like through water and reach up to the sky. It can move around the body, opening up the chest, moving through water. And then rising up, move along a little bit. And if you're seated, you can take your arms out like a warrior, like a mini warrior if you're kneeling. If you're in bed, you can do this from seated. Feeling into the fire and strength of your mini warrior. Fire from your heart and belly out through your arms. Then dropping the hand down to that extended leg and letting the other hand go through the air. Playful, finding a way into a bend, way out, but playing. Imagine it touching the clouds or the sky, the stars, a rainbow, and feeling that opening through the side of the body. And then sweeping it back down, windmilling the arms, going all the way back down again and pushing back into child's pose or a little forward fold over your knees if you're seated. And pause for a moment and notice in your body where you might feel earth, water, fire and air. And gently come back up. I'll turn round so we can do that the other direction. So one leg is stretching out, the other one goes back as a kickstand if you're on hands and knees. Feeling into the earth first. Then taking a hand up through water, fluidly. Through water. Rising up with fire, feeling strength from your heart reaching out. Heart and out. Remember, you can't do this wrong. We're playing with the elements. And then with air, dropping one hand and sweeping up through the clouds, through the stars. Playful, can you reach the sky? And over. And then sweep back down. Push back again to your child's pose. Be a child for a moment. Rest your head. Sink. Breathe. Connecting through each element. And notice what your body prefers. We're going to come up to standing, so you can either gently push up to standing or seated. You can stay seated, or you can come up through a downward facing dog, hands a little forward, hover the knees, sit bones back and up, then walking toes to hands and hands to toes in a forward fold, and generously bend the knees and rise up, reaching for the sky again. And let go. Oh, have a shimmy, have a shake. Notice how your body feels. Okay. It was a full moon. I don't know when the moon was, but I'm quite sure the moon affects me. I'm sure it affects my energy. I'm sure it affects my mood. I'm sure it affects my motivation. So starting in your mountain, inhale and sweep the arms up, coming into extended mountain. Breathing into your extended mountain. Then take a little bend to the side. I'm mirroring, so I'm going to the left. And come back up. Stepping out, turning the toes out, coming into your goddess. It doesn't have to be wide, it doesn't have to be strong. Notice if I've already got a watery goddess. She's fluid, she's floaty. You might be strong and fiery, or you might be earthy, or you might be like a playful goddess. Then turning out the left toes, bending still into that knee, bringing in the right toes. We're coming into a warrior two. Take a hug and sweep out. How is your warrior today? Is it fierce and strong? And perhaps through those fingertips, through that gaze, you can see where you want to go. What's going to ignite the fire? Shift a little towards the bent knee, straighten the leg, and turn into triangle. Pause here. Now, you might want to come back to warrior two, or you might want to come into a half moon. You can come into a half moon from your knees. You can come into it from your chair. To come into it, shift the weight into that bent, that foot was the bent knee. Shift the weight. Hang on to something, a table, a chair, a block. Just for a moment, be playful. Lean against a wall or visualize. Brilliant. You can even do it from here. You don't have to go all the way. You don't have to take your foot up. Your foot can stay down. Do where you need to be. And if you wobble, that's okay. Take the foot back down. Take the body up. Give it a little shimmy and a shake at the hips because we're turning towards that foot. Bending into the front knee. Taking your arms up, coming into a warrior one. What is she doing to us today? Hands to the hips, straighten that front leg and bend a little. This is your pyramid. It's a bit like the triangle version of warrior one because your hips are facing the opposite way. And either stay there and straighten up, or take your hands down to the mat, bend that back knee, coming into a low lunge. Oh, we haven't been down here for a while. Low lunge. If you're on the mat, take your hands down and come up onto both feet. So you're walking through a wide-legged forward fold. You can do this standing by just holding onto a chair and not lowering too much, but you're in a wide-legged forward fold. Brilliant. And we're going all the way over to the opposite end of the mat,
coming back into a low lunge. Or if you're standing, you're essentially in a high lunge. Brilliant. Hands down to the mat. Tuck that back toe and step the foot in a bit, but not all the way, because we are going to come up into a pyramid. So keeping the knees soft, you're coming halfway so that your legs are strong, but they're not locked. You might come a bit higher up. And then rise all the way up, bending that front knee, coming back into your warrior one. Brilliant. Have a little scooch round, have a little shake of the hips, and find your warrior two. How did we get here? Hands to heart, find that fire and reach it out. Shift a little, straighten and turn into our triangle. Beautiful. Stay here or go back to warrior two or come with me for a wobbly half moon. So shift the weight, lean on something and lift that back leg, even if it's a tiny bit. And it's okay to wobble, it's okay to leave the leg down. And come back. Turn the feet out and find your goddess again. Maybe take a wobbly goddess this time. Let it go. Walk the feet in. Extend your mountain and take it over to the opposite side that you did last time. Bring it back up and let that go. Have a shimmy, have a shake. That was amazing. That was amazing to see you all doing that. And that was a challenge that was full of earth, water, fire and air, and not something that we're used to. Now, often when I do some moon salutations, we go back around the other way. We're not doing that today. We are not doing that today because our bodies say, no, thank you. We'd like to not go back the other way. Thank you very much. It was a kind offer. Hands to heart. And breathe. Notice. And then either return to your seat, your mat, your bed, and come back down, rested. Knowing that that was playful, that was structured, that needed flexibility. I don't mean physical flexibility, flexibility of thought. And just take a reclined pigeon. So one foot flat on the mat, flex the other foot, ankle to knee, and encourage that thigh away. If you're in a seat, you can do this seated by taking your foot across the knee. Sink there into that pose. Stay there or lift the foot off the ground and hold through the thigh, your hands looping around the thigh. Feeling the stretch, never going for the end range of movement, pull well away from the end range. Make it gentle. Explore. Connect the sensations. Perhaps have a little rock with it side to side. And gently let that go. Feet flat, whether seated or not. And windshield wiper the knees side to side. Swap sides, foot flat, flex the foot, ankle to knee or thigh. Find the pose. Encourage that thigh away. Lift the foot off the floor should you choose. And notice where you feel it. And where you feel it most, notice where you feel it less. Because the sensations everywhere, just ones dominate and they stop us feeling into it. Maybe have a little rock, side to side. And then let that go. Feet flat. Let the knees rock side to side. I'm going to take a bridge here. So one option you've got is to put a block or a cushion between the thighs, because sometimes in bridge when we lift our hips, we tend to, our legs go outwards. Now if you're seated, you can't lift in quite the same way, but you can tilt your hips so that you lift a little, pushing into the feet still. So if you're lying down, take the feet close to the body if you can. And as you inhale, lift the hips. Doesn't have to be far. Keep your gaze upwards. And lower. You might want to add in your arms. Inhale, lift the hips, take the arms overhead. Exhale. And lower. One more. It might be just the hips. It might be the hips and the arms. Inhale up and over and keep them there. Keep breathing, and you have the option to take the hands behind the back and interlace the fingers, squeezing your shoulder blades together. Just for a moment, and then release. Remove the block or cushion if you've got it there, and bring your knees back into your chest. Have a rock, side to side. We're going to take another twist, because after something like those standing poses, your body really enjoys the spinal reset, we call it. I don't know why we call it that, because your spine doesn't actually get out of order or anything, but a spinal reset. So stretching out the left leg, you can do this seated as well. If you're lying down, take your right foot to your left knee. If you're seated in a chair, take your ankle across the other, your right ankle across your left. Left hand to right knee, and encourage it over the body. You can use a pillow or bolster or cushion here if you want it supported. And take hold with your right hand of that spare foot to pull the cat's tail. I know I say it, but we don't actually pull any cat's tails. Crossing the midline, asymmetrical poses, good for our brains, good for developing neural pathways, recovery from injuries, brain injuries. Let that go, come back to center, knees to chest. Stretch out the right leg. Swap sides. Left foot to right knee, right hand to left knee. Encourage it over. Spare hand grabs the spare foot. You might feel that stretch down the front of the lower thigh. I lose all ability to tell you what's right and left in this position. And let it go. Come back to center. Now, if you're seated, take a little forward fold over your knees. And if you're lying down, bring your knees into your chest. Because after asymmetry, your body likes symmetry. Have a little rock side to side. You can take a happy baby here if you're seated And then folded over your knees, take your hands down to your ankles. If you're lying down, take your hands up to your ankles and hold the bottoms of your feet or your legs, anywhere on your legs, allowing your feet to move up to the ceiling as though you're a baby playing in a cot. This is a really good pose after a twist. The twist is good after the practice. The symmetry of this after the twist is good too. And then stretch out your legs, either over a bolster or cushion, or just loose on the mat, or in front of you if you're sitting in a chair. And let your body soften and sink. Allow yourself a few moments here. I'm going to come up and sit there and guide you through an additional meditation. But I'd like you to be wherever is good for you. Pull over a blanket, if that feels good. Anything you need. Settle, soften. Notice your breath and your body. And connecting to each of the elements. Earth, water, fire and air. And notice your breath. Breathing in with awareness. Breathing out. Maybe with some gratitude for yourself, for you here as a body. Perhaps you can imagine a walk through a grassy field, maybe up a gentle hill, solid earth beneath you, trees with roots. Perhaps a lake nearby, the fluidity of the water, the heat of the sun, and the air dancing, moving the clouds. Perhaps there's even a touch of rain, bringing the playfulness of a rainbow. In your mind, in your mind's eye, perhaps you can take a seat, sitting on a rock or against a tree. The earth, solid, supportive. Your body resting, rooting down, settled. Sensing into the bones of your body, the stability of your skeleton. Breathing in with awareness, breathing out with gratitude for you here as a body. Notice your connection in your mind's eye with the place that you sit. Literally with the ground. And soften into the earth, being held there. Notice the structures around you, the solidity of the movement. Your body resting, settled. And any emotional shifts with a subtle quality of earthiness. Breathing in with awareness, and breathing out with gratitude for you here as a body. Perhaps making a transition to the element of water, softening, feeling fluidity within you. In your mind's eye, in that scene, seeing a lake or a stream, the flow of water, the movement. Perhaps you can sense or imagine the fluids of your body, blood moving around your body. Breathing in with awareness, breathing out with gratitude for you here as a body. Perhaps feeling the softness around your spine, the muscles that shift and move as needed. Softening of the jaw, your tongue, the hips and belly. Noticing the fluidity within you. Breathing in with awareness. Breathing out with gratitude for you here as a body. Perhaps you notice any small fluid movements, or yourself as a sponge soaking up emotion, thoughts, anything you hear or see. Letting things come and letting things go. Breathing in with awareness and breathing out with gratitude for you here as a body. Moving into the element of fire, and in your mind's eye, seeing, feeling, sensing the sun burning, energy radiating. Perhaps in that place your posture is strong. Perhaps you can feel the fire in your chest. Passion for what you love, strength in the breath, breathing in with awareness, breathing out with gratitude for you here as a body. Sensing, imagining the heat of your body in every cell breathing fire, burning with energy and focus. Noticing any emotions linked with fire. Fierce, focused, determined. Breathing in with awareness Breathing out with gratitude for you here as a body. The element of air. In this place in your mind's eye, the sky above, the dancing breeze, the clouds, a magical rainbow. Perhaps you can sense or imagine the air and space within your body, dancing, moving, creating. Breathing in with awareness. Breathing out with gratitude for you here as a body. Perhaps you can imagine breathing in the rainbow, breathing in creativity. Notice any thoughts rushing in and rushing out. Notice any playfulness, being spontaneous and free. Breathing in with awareness. Breathing out with gratitude for you here as a body. And allowing this body to settle here with each or any element just as you are for the next couple of minutes. Breathing in with awareness. Breathing out with gratitude for you here as a body. Breathing in with awareness. Breathing out with gratitude for you here as a body. Gently leaving this place in your mind's eye, returning from where we came, taking any stretches or movements or deeper breath, but perhaps taking a sense of the elements through into our creativity practice, into our day. And slowly, as you are ready, coming back to where we began.